Hi everyone and welcome. I am Ishani Bihari and today we are speaking with Manu Malhotra. An alumni of Soil, Manu is currently a leader at Adobe, handling digital advertising campaigns for their EMEA clients. A global marketing leader and speaker, he is passionate about marketing leadership. He also teaches digital marketing at various preschools, including ours. Welcome, Manu.
Thank you, Ishani. Thank you so much. Glad to be with you.
So tell us about your career journey after you passed out of Soil.
Oh, Ishani, it was fantastic. I couldn't have asked for a better opportunity after Soil, honestly. I worked with Othbridge and the role was very interesting. The role was executive assistant to CEO, which meant I was shadowing the CEO in the boardroom discussions. I was managing his dashboards. So there was a separate PA, right, who used to manage calendars. I was more strategically involved in what were the dashboards for sales, marketing, HR, right? That was amazing experience, Ishani, because that gave me a perspective about holistic business, right? CEO is a business leader who looks across functions, right? He puts all those puzzles together and solves them. So I think that perspective that I developed in the initial 2 to 3 years after really learning all those management and leadership principles, it was fantastic. And after that, I joined C1 India for a while, and it was again a very interesting product experience. And then I landed at Adobe, and it has been a transformational experience at Adobe itself, because Adobe is a leader in what they do in multiple areas, and working with the leader. And the best aspect, Ishani, is there's amazing talent at Adobe, amazing. So you always can learn from people around you. So it has been transformational experience at Soil, and even after that at Adobe. I continue to be a smartly paid student, if I say, at Adobe.
So do tell us a little bit about your current work. Any new marketing trends or practices that you would like to share?
Oh yes, I think I'm part of digital marketing, Ishani, and as you know, we are witnessing this wave of digital,
Yeah.
right? And it is cutting across, right? So world may talk about a 10% to a 50% growth rate, or even 100% growth rate in digital marketing, depending on whether you're talking about USA or Europe or Asia or even India, right? So uh, we all know that it's cutting across multiple disciplines, and digital marketing has become uh, far more important and relevant than ever before. It's measurable in real time, data driven, very very cost effective. You can measure things, you can control spends. Where do you want to drive more ROI? So and look at travel, look at retail, look at even education, right? Today
Yeah.
digital marketing is cutting across all the major sectors. Let's talk about some trends, right? Look at the role of technology in digital marketing right now. When you have to scale your efforts, when there are complex problems to solve, when there's you have to reach the audience with a very sharply targeted message, right?
Yeah.
You have to contextually target them. You have to personalize the messages and the scale, like, right, at which you have to do it. So technology is playing a huge role there, and on top of it, the layer of artificial intelligence, right? So that's the biggest trend. Artificial intelligence is playing a key role in digital marketing, and today's CMOs, CIOs are having this conversation, right? How can we be more effective? Where are we spending where we shouldn't be? And how can our each dollar that we spend, we can have a better ROI, right? So these are the emerging trends, apart from some of the tactical trends around video and other forms of reaching customers. But I see a biggest trend is how technology today does plays a big role in helping CMOs and CIOs and chief digital officers achieve far more today than they were looking at from digital marketing years ago.
Wonderful. Thank you for that insight. So coming back to Soil, what are the key reasons that you chose to join Soil for your master's at that time?
Ishani, so I was writing exams, and like any aspirants, I I was choosing between colleges, right? So I had 2, 3 options, and I interviewed at Soil, and I got to know that there's Inspired Leadership Conference. There's a phenomenon called Inspired Leadership Conference. This was back in 2010 or 2011, probably. Yeah, 2011, right? 2011, it was there. So I had this unique opportunity to attend and really witness and experience the life at Soil, what Soil is all about, the values and the leaders, and because I had read a lot, right? So I attended that. It was an eye opener, and for the first time, I realized that there's more to management that I was assuming. There's a lot of leadership involvement. There is a lot of holistic development that one can get exposed to, and this was something new to me at that point in time. And I was completely awestruck, and I had opportunity to meet Anil sir before actually joining Soil, and a lot of other leaders who came in. That gave me a good perspective what Soil offers, and then it became an unmatchable offering. What I could learn at Soil vis-a-vis other options that I had. So I had no other choice but to join Soil after attending Inspire Leadership Conference.
Wonderful. That's the annual conference that we still do to till.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
oh yes. I've just missed one since that time. So for last 8, 9 Inspire Leadership Conference, I've attended all of them.
Wonderful.
Just missed once.
So how was that 1 year at Soil for you? Can you share some fun memories while you were studying at Soil?
Oh yes, I mean it was very hectic. It was very rigorous. At the same time, I knew I was here with a purpose, right? And it was all falling in place, as I said. And of course, when you're living the college life, Ishani, the first thing, the awakening moment for Manu as a student was when I was chit chatting. The teacher was teaching in the class, and I was thrown out of the class. And it was an awakening moment. Manu, you're not a corporate person here. You are a student. You're back to a pen and a notebook and be a student here. And that was an awakening moment. And it happened on the third day of Soil. So I think it was very funny, but it was very awakening. Some of the funny moments are very awakening and very enlightening for you. And you suddenly are shaken up. When you work in a corporate life, it doesn't happen, right? Nobody scolds you, go out and stand out of the classroom, right?
Yeah.
But you suddenly have that. So I think since then I just asked myself, be a better student here. Just have a have a open sort of learning experience, open mind. And some of the things that I had to drop off was preconceived notions. I'm here because I wanted to, let's say, build a career in sales or build a career in marketing. So I had to drop a lot of notions, right? I'm here to study everything holistically and let my passion emerge from there. And that's how marketing came in.
Wonderful. And so how did studying at Soil prepare you and help in your personal and professional growth?
Oh, that's what I said. I was very open to all the disciplines. And in fact, even when I had to, look at opportunities which were after Soil companies that I would join, I was very open. I was never narrow-minded that I only had to do marketing, I only had to do sales, or only HR, whatever, right? I knew that there's a passion that is developing around marketing. Whatever takes me there, right? I will invest in that. So Soil gave me a fantastic platform in terms of mentors. Even today, Bhattacharya sir at Soil continues to be my guru. And I remember, we used to have some of the B school contests, right? So we participated in IIM Ahmedabad and a couple of others, and we did really well as a team, right? We took a lot of guidance from him, how to build out an entire structure of a marketing plan. How do we look at the strategy part and the planning part a little differently? How do we look at the tactical part a little differently? So the entire year, and plus the mentorship program, right? I was exposed to some amazing mentors, right? That gives you a very good life perspective and a practical perspective. How are you going to put your learnings theory into practice, right? That bridges a lot. So this mentorship program, phenomenal teachers, and what has brought me back to Soil as a teacher is always this, right? Because Soil is a family. right? It's a family for me. It's a value driven temple institute, right? Where and that bonding, that love, that thread, that connection still stays strong. So whatever my I made some gurus um, uh, between that duration 2011 to 12, and they continue to be my guru today, right? So even if you would visit my cabin and office sometime, and why not, I should invite you, Shani, sometime. You
Thank
would
you.
see photos of Anil sir there, you would see
Wow.
photos of Susie Roy there, you would see photos of my gurus there, like Bhattacharya sir and other teachers, right? Because they have been transformational, right? So I can't really put it in words, but whatever a pupil, a student needs from a teacher, I was given that.
Hmm.
And what does one else need? I mean, you got the direction, you got the knowledge, you got the wisdom, and you're on your own then.
So wonderful to hear you say that. And you know, life has now come a full circle, and you teach at SOEL now. So, what are your subjects, and how have you designed your curriculum?
So Ishani, it was not my plan. It
Hmm.
is divine plan that I'm part of. Actually, I hail from a family of teachers, right? So that teaching runs in my DNA. Maybe my sister was a professor in electrical engineering. My mother retired as a prolific principal of a government school, and I hail from a huge family of teachers, right? So it had to be this way, right? But then since a lot of time, for last 15 years I have been a mentee, and for last 12 years I have been a mentor, right? So that 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 knack of really helping young bright minds, how they can find a right direction. And I thought, since it's a good combination, right? Mentor or mentee, both experiences, plus coming from a family of teachers, right?
Yeah.
So it had to be this way. And I'm just very, very passionate about marketing right now. So all of these three things, when they come together, and digital marketing, I had this unique opportunity, and I was invited to a couple of places to start with, and I just loved it. And I just love teaching digital marketing. The way I curate my curriculum is more on the practical side, what's happening,
Hmm.
because I know what I was doing 7 8 years back. It's redundant in digital marketing. It's changing at such a faster pace, right? So a lot of learning that I share and the way I design curriculum is how you know the current batch, when they become business leaders, right? How would they be approaching digital marketing,
Hmm.
right? At an operational, at a strategic, as a business leader, right? And not just at a tactical level, how do we operate on tools, right? Because that's where the leadership is. How do you take decisions? Where do you invest more? Where do you get more ROI? So I design my curriculum so that it gives them a holistic understanding of digital marketing discipline. And
Hmm.
it's not a narrow course which just talks about some tools.
So yeah, students are definitely lucky to have somebody as passionate as you teaching them about such a current event topic, which is digital marketing. So great.
Oh, I'm loving it. Mm.
So what changes do you see in SOEL from your student days to now as a member of the faculty?
Well, I think some of the things have remained completely same.
Mm-hmm.
The values, the focus on ethics, values, uh, that has remained the same. The whole ethos has remained the same. I think what has changed is, I also see, we're scaling,
Yeah.
right? We are trying to have a larger impact in the student community, and SOBD is also a fantastic model where we have opened up a complete 2 year program,
Yeah.
right? So I think what is changing is definitely the shift in impact that we are trying to make in the whole community, right? With these more responsible leaders,
Mm.
that's one realization. Maybe we are getting close to what we wanted to do as a soil family, as the main purpose behind soil. But some of the things that remain constant are, as I told you, the focus on values and focus on ethics.
Wonderful. You mentioned one of the things you're very passionate about is mentoring. Can you share some of the core principles that you always try to imbibe in your mentees?
Oh, first one is this immense hunger. They
Mm.
should come. They should. They should be very, very hungry, right? And they should be very, very passionate about. even if they don't have a direction, right? Very hungry to know more, very hungry to find a direction, right? Because that's the most conducive environment for any mentor and a mentee relationship to prosper. I think some of the other things that fall in place is discipline, uh, some sort of passion, right? Some sort of passion. Maybe it is lacking channelization, so your mentor can channelize the energy and share those experiences. But I just look for raw hunger, discipline, passion, right? Of course, some of the basic hygiene things that have to fall in place is you're committed to that relationship, right? Sometimes I've had those experiences. Some people don't approach it as sincerely, right? So I think, but whenever I've experienced that somebody is really hungry, and I have had mentor-mentee relationships, as I said, for last 10 plus years, and as a result of mentoring, I have also become a better mentee in my relationships with my mentors, right? I realize, I should give them a better experience of my preparedness, my hunger, my passion, and, the answer that I'm seeking for. So I think it just helps. So Ishani, it's actually very funny, but when you go out to give as a mentor, you receive far more back. So it's sometimes very funny. And I've realized it in last 10 plus years that whenever I have tried to mentor, over that 1 year course of mentoring, I become a better mentee. So it's very rewarding.
It's great. How does one select or approach a mentor? How should a student best utilize any mentorship opportunities they get?
I think one is which has really worked for me is be open, right? A lot of people judge, oh, he's not from my background, oh, he's this senior, oh, he's very young, oh, he's very old. No, I think we have to drop those filters, Ishani. Come on, we're living in a very diverse world right now. We're looking at having people in our teams which hail from completely different backgrounds, so that they can bring in some new perspectives. So I think a lot of people fall into this trap. Oh, he's not from HR. Oh, he's not from marketing. Oh, he's not from IT. Oh, he's not from sales. How will he be able to guide me? No, no. Please drop those and have a very open mindset. What are your underlying, what are your overarching questions that you want to find out, right? What are those? Maybe you are not able to take decisions about your career, right? These are very open conversations. So sometimes, so I think the way I really invite people to look out for right mentors is go all out in your network. Don't judge people and put them in boxes. Have those conversations. And you can't really pinpoint people, right? You select sort of 5, 7, 10 people in your network where you have a potential chance of getting mentored, right? Reach them with the right intent. Don't judge and box them in initial conversations, right? So, and you will find out. So one is networking. Second is having a very open mindset, right? Don't put them into boxes. And then self-awareness is very important, Shani. Sometimes we don't know what do we want, and we seek the entire world, right? And we come empty-handed, right? So third thing, very important in finding a right mentor is what is it that you want to know? You don't just want a casual conversation, right? To have a good time. You need to have a deeper purpose. And for that deeper purpose, the one fundamental thing is your own self-awareness, right? And emotional quotient also starts with self-awareness, right? How aware I am. What are those questions that I want to know that I don't have answers to, right? And the moment you have this clarity, answers will emerge. You will find mentors out of nowhere. I have found mentors out of nowhere. I have found mentors when I was there in a workshop learning something. And so one of my mentors is Subhash Kare, right? He's ex-head. He retired recently from Wipro, and he was head HR of Wipro. And I found him in a workshop, right? And he's been my mentor for the last 7, 8 years, right? So, just have an open mind. So he comes from an HR background. But when I have to take decisions about my career, my thinking process, how can I think better, right? I reach out to him, and it's working for me. It doesn't come from marketing background, right? So it's very important that we be open, and we have that we don't people put people in boxes, and self-awareness is very key. So I think once you put these three things together, you'll find the right mentor, and mentor will emerge once you have this clarity out of nowhere.
Those are some great insights, and I'm sure our students will benefit from that. One thing I admire about you is how positive and cheerful you always are. So apart from work and all the things that we discussed, what brings you joy?
Shani, honestly, it's a secret. Don't tell anyone. It should be between both of you, both of us. So, and the secret is, I realized I had very down time in my life, very lows. Out of it emerged that the only thing I learned was it was not a destination. I have this, I'll be happy. I pass out of, so I'll have a good job. I'll be happy. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work. And that's why I realized being happy is a choice. I'm happy today. I'm happy. I'm not happy because of anything specific thing happening.
Right.
And that's what I tell myself. So honestly, it's a big secret that should stay between both of us.
Sure.
Because when we share it with others, nobody understands, right? So bottom of the pyramid, people would say, they would crib about everything they others have. Above that pyramid, a lot of people would say, I'll be happy once I have this. I'll be happy. Even I've seen if my kid does this, I'll be happy. If I have this, I'll be happy, right? But it doesn't happen. It's a vicious circle. Above this, you will have people, if I do this, I'll be happy. People say this, I follow my passion, and that's why I'm happy. But above it, I find the more people who are most happy are people who are happy with everything that they do. And the only choice is that they've chosen to be happy. And there's it's not a destination. Actually, it's a path. You're happy, and you're just happy, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason to it.
Thank you for sharing that secret. I think it's something that we should all try and implement, and it's not easy, of course, but
it's not easy. It's not easy.
Something
Your social awareness always tells you, oh, there's so much happening around you. Look at the media. Look at this. So much happening around. What's so much to be unhappy about. But when you sit back and have your time with yourself, and your awareness takes a better part of your judgment, then you realize that it's not a function of anything happening actually.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Manu. This has been a great conversation. Thank you for your time.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ishani. See you. Have a good day ahead.